Yes, I know I am a little bit late, for which I apologise, but at least we are here. It is better to be late than never, is what they say. Here we go again. Yes, hello there, welcome. It is a rather cloudy, murky, cold, and I suppose I would say dry. At least it's dry. We haven't had any rain yet today. Here we go then. Yes, it's English Addict. We are back together again, live from the birthplace of the English language, which just happens to be, oh my goodness, it's England. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope you are feeling happy today. I'm not too bad, thank you for asking. I'm okay here in England. Everything is all right. I was slightly late. I don't know what happens during my morning. I normally have about 3 or maybe 4 hours free to prepare this, but I always seem to run out of time very quickly. Time goes by so fast. One moment you are a child, the next moment you are this. Where did it all go wrong? I will never know. So my name is Mr. Duncan. Duncan is what people call me, besides other words. And I talk about the English language. I like English. You might say that I am an English addict, and I have a feeling that you might be as well. How was your week? Have you had a good week? Has it been a good one? Has it been a nice week? Have you had a moment where you were smiling or maybe even laughing? Something perhaps that made you laugh this week. My voice, once again, is a little bit croaky. I don't know why my voice seems a little strange at the moment. We went out yesterday for a lovely walk into town. It was very pleasant. I want to say it reminded me of spring yesterday. It really did feel like spring was in the air, but today very cold again, and as you can see the view behind me, you will see the cars, you will see the vans, and maybe you will see something unexpected occur behind my back. So that is live. For those asking, that is the view right now out of the window. Mr. Duncan, have you ever thought of moving from where you are now? Well, at the moment, the answer is no. I love living here. However, sometimes there are things that are annoying. And of course, we are talking about neighbours. What about you? How are your neighbours? Do you get on with your neighbours? Do you ever talk to your neighbours? So, have you ever thought of moving from where you live now? Have you ever thought of moving to another area or another place? Is there a reason why that might happen? Perhaps you have a family. Maybe you have some kids that you didn't have a couple of years ago, and now your house is too small to fit everyone in. So maybe you are going to move house because you don't have enough room where you live now. But at the moment, yes, I suppose we are happy here. I'm happy. Mr. Steve is happy, even though sometimes there are things that annoy him. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes there are things that annoy Mr. Steve now and again. Talking of Mr. Steve, he will be coming later on, for those wondering. Yes, we do have Steve. He is here today. We also have a subject to talk about as well. Yes, we are talking about a subject. Today we are talking about stages of life. from when you are a little baby to when you are an old person, like me. A lot of people ask, how old are you, Mr. Duncan? Well, I will give you a clue. This year, I will be 3 years away from the age that Mr. Steve was last year. Is that clear? So think of how old Mr. Steve was last year on his birthday, and then take 3 off that, and that will be my age this year. Does it bother me? Not really. No, as they always say, you are only as old as you feel. It's true. You are. If you feel young, if you have a young outlook on life, if you see things in a positive way, if you see yourself in a positive way, you often find that you feel better. You feel quite young, in fact. Hello to the live chat. We have the live chat up and running right now. Nice to see you here as well. Oh, hello there. Very interesting. It's also nice to know that we have made it to the end of another week, and also almost the end of another weekend, and almost the end of January. Yes, it's Sunday. Sunday has returned. I hope you are feeling good today. I hope you are feeling good today. If you are not feeling good, then I hope we will cheer you up. Maybe there's something on your mind. Maybe there is a problem that you have to sort out next week. So if there is, I hope I will cheer you up somehow. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Steve will cheer us up as well. I'm sure he will try his best. So we have a lovely day here. We have a nice time to come. We are talking about the stages of life. We also have some nice photographs to show as well. We have an English show for 2 hours. I know what you're thinking. It's impossible. There is no way on earth that you're going to be able to do that for 2 hours, but I will try my best. Hello again to the live chat. Oh, hello, live chat. Nice to see you here as well on this Sunday. And, oh, very interesting. It looks as if we have a new champion on the live chat with their very fast finger. Congratulations once again to Euphonium888. Guess what? You are first on today's live chat. Well done. And also we have Vitas in second place. Also we have Olga as well. Mosen is here. Nice to see you as well. Also we have Luis Mendez is here today. Thank you also, Luis, for your lovely photograph that you sent last week. The weather is getting better across Europe, not only here in England, but also across France as well. Thank you, Lewis, for your lovely photograph that you sent last week. Isn't that lovely? I do like being near water. I will be honest with you. I do like being close to a river or a lake or even by the sea. So thank you, Lewis, for that lovely photograph. And as you can see, the trees are still looking rather bare because it is still winter after all. In fact, those trees in that photograph look very similar to the tree that is behind me on my live view if you look closely. Yes, it does. It looks a little bit like that particular tree there. It looks very similar. Let's have another look. Yes, they do look very similar. I think they might be the same tree, you know. Thank you, Lewis, for your lovely photograph. Today we are talking about being young, being middle-aged, being old. But, as I always say, you are only as old as you feel. There are lots of words connected to all of the stages of life as we grow up, from our childhood to adulthood to our twilight years. There are many words we can use to describe it. Hello to everyone. Hello also to, hello, Tomek. Hello, Tomek. Nice to see you here. Hello also, Christina. Christina. We also have Maria. Maria. I'm saying hello to Maria. Thank you very much for joining me today. We also have Connell. Hello, Connell. It's nice to see you back as well. We had a big surprise last week. We had Sukat. I haven't seen Sukat for a very long time on the live chat, but we did have Sukat last week on the live chat. Another one of our regular viewers who we haven't seen for a long time. Hello also to Rungsak. Hello, Rungsak. Nice to see you here as well. Another one of my regular viewers, but also one of my regular posters on the comments section as well. Thank you very much for joining me once more. We have Nessar. We have Alessandra. Oh my goodness. It's a busy one today. It's very busy. Can I just say, it looks as if today's live chat is going to be rather busy. So what about you? Have you ever thought about moving house? Have you ever thought about moving to another place? Maybe another area, maybe to another town, maybe to another city, maybe to another country. Wow. Let me know, please. Being a good neighbour, having neighbours around you who will take care of you if you have a difficulty or maybe if you are in trouble. Sometimes it is good to have a neighbour nearby who will help you out. I think so. Hello also to, hello to Zdzika. Nice to see you back as well on the live chat. It is a very busy one today. Lots of people are here. Hello to Forest. Forest Leprechaun. Hello to you. Now, is there a difference between a leprechaun and a dwarf? Leprechauns, are they different? I think they are, aren't they? I often think of leprechauns as being something from Irish folklore, but dwarfs are something different. And of course, a lot of people talking about that at the moment because there is a new version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But apparently they're going... I don't understand this. There are going to be no dwarfs in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Apparently there is a new film version, but some people are unhappy about it. They are saying, how dare you depict small people, little people as dwarfs. That's sizist. Is there such a thing as sizeism? Can you be sizist? Is it possible to be sizist? People used to be so mean and horrible to me when I was young because I was really tall. So I actually had the opposite problem. I was not a dwarf. I was actually a big lanky beanpole. And that's what people used to call me. So even if you're not small, even if you're not short, you can still have problems. Because I was really tall at school and everyone used to pick on me. They used to call me lanky and beanpole, horrible, and skinny ribs is another one they used to call me. Horrible, isn't that horrible? So just because you are tall, just because you have a lot of height, does not mean that your life is easier. Trust me, it doesn't. So you can be short and have problems. You can be tall, very tall, and have difficulty as well. It doesn't mean anything. Palmyra says, I trust my nearest neighbours. We even have the keys to both of our flats. So you have your neighbour's key and your neighbour has your key. Well, I think that is a great idea. And one of the reasons why I think that is good is because you can make sure that the other person is always safe. So maybe if you don't see your neighbour for a couple of days, you might become concerned. You might think, what is wrong with my neighbour? I haven't seen my neighbour for 2 or 3 days. So you can go round, you can open the door and make sure they are okay. Perhaps they've had an accident in the house. Maybe they've fallen over. Maybe they've got stuck in the bathtub. Maybe they climbed into the bath to have a lovely bath and they stayed in there so long their body has expanded in the water and soaked up all the water and now they are stuck in the bathtub. So if you have the key to their house, you can go in and you can help them get out of the bathtub. Can I just tell you, once I got stuck on the toilet. It wasn't this toilet in my house, so it wasn't here, but it was somewhere else, and I actually got stuck on the toilet. Don't ask me what happened. Don't ask me how I got off the toilet. It's all very embarrassing, but I did once get stuck on the toilet. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying nothing else. Nothing else. Hello, Victoria. Hello. Analgo or Aldo. Agnaldo. There we go. If I just try it 3 or 4 times, I will get it right. I will. Agnaldo Rodriguez says, hello, I am from Brazil. A big hello to Brazil. We have a lot of people watching in South America, across Brazil, Argentina, Chile, all of those places. We have a lot of people watching Peru as well. So hello to everyone watching in South America. Can I say a big hello to you? Mr. Steve is coming soon. Euphonium says, oh, Olga, you have very good neighbours. I'm not sure if I would give my key to one of my neighbours, especially if I was going away on holiday. I really wouldn't do it because I would be too afraid that they would come into the house and have a look round. They might search the house. They might have a look around the house to see if they can find anything. They might look in my drawers. They might decide to try on my clothes. They might steal my underwear and sell it on eBay. You see, so you have to be very careful who you give your key to. Hello, Italiana Tolly. Hello, Italiana. I love you all and I missed the UK. Oh, you've been here. Have you been to the UK? Which part of the UK have you been to? Have you been somewhere nice? There are many places, many lovely places to visit here in the UK. So you can go to the north, you can visit Scotland, lots of beautiful places, castles, some beautiful scenic places to visit in Scotland. You can go to some of the very remote parts of Scotland and enjoy all of the sights. You can go to Wales. One of my favourite parts of the UK is Wales. Some stunning, amazing scenery in Wales as well. And of course, England. You can come to England and have a visit. Maybe you can come to Much Wenlock and say hello to me. We can have a cup of tea one day together, perhaps. Hello, the real Prithi. Hello, the real Prithi, watching in India. Can I say a big hello to you as well? Hello to India. I hope you're having a good day so far, and I hope your weekend is going well. We have Mr. Steve coming in a few moments. We have some photographs to show you. We also have today's topic. We are talking about all of the different stages of life. We will have some funny moments. We will have some serious moments. So I hope you will stay with us. It's time now to take a look at one of my full English lessons. We'll have a little break. And then Mr. Steve will be with us live on YouTube. Yes, we are right now at 2:30 p.m. on Sunday, the 30th of January, 2022. Happy New Year, everyone. Just in case I haven't wished you Happy New Year already. I hope you have a good New Year. Has it been good so far? I hope so. Don't go away. Mr. Steve is on his way. You know, the world of English is a fun and exciting place to be, especially today because I'm back with another full English lesson, coming to you from the birthplace of Eric Clapton, Kate Winslet, David Beckham, Richard Branson, and of course the English language, which is the thing we all have in common, a passionate love of this lovely thing called English. So without any more dawdling or annoying hold-ups, let's get on with today's full English lesson right now. Can you see what I have in my hand? It's a hook. This might look like a simple object, but it has many uses, both inside and outside the house. It is useful for hanging things, either from a wall or ceiling. The word hook can be used in many ways too. As a noun, it names a piece of metal or plastic that is curved at one end. It is an object used for hanging things from. Hooks come in many different shapes and sizes. You can also use a hook to catch a fish. You put a hook on the end of a fishing line. An object for hanging clothes on is also called a hook. Once more, these come in many different shapes and sizes. A hook can also describe an eye-catching thing. Something that is used to get attention from people is a hook. For example, a sail's hook, a short swinging punch, is also a hook. As a verb, the word hook can mean the action of attaching two or more hooks together. You can hook one thing to another. You can hook onto something. He managed to hook his leg onto the branch to prevent himself from falling. A person who has become over-reliant on something is hooked. To hook someone on a thing so as to get them addicted. The person who is addicted is hooked. My brother became hooked on drugs during his teen years. To lure someone towards something, such as an image, a person, or a song, is hook. The thing in question is attractive. It hooks you. You can hook up with someone. To meet a person with a view to starting a relationship is hook up. To connect electrical equipment together with wires is hook up. He came over last night to hook up my hi-fi speakers. To catch something with a hook is to hook something. I hope we will hook ourselves a nice big fish. To bend something into a hook shape is hook. He hooked his thumbs under his belt. The phrase off the hook means to be no longer a suspect or to become blameless and out of trouble. His wife's statement got him off the hook. There is also by hook or by crook, which means to succeed no matter what happens or whatever it takes. I will make this business grow by hook or by crook. To tell a person to go away, you can say, sling your hook. It's now time to take a look at another buzzword. A buzzword is a word or phrase that is used often during a certain period or is generally popular. Today's buzzword is embargo. The word embargo can be used as a noun and as a verb. As a noun, embargo means to block something from being imported from another country. An import ban can be described as an embargo. The weapons embargo begins at midnight. A dispute between two nations might result in an embargo. An official ban on all activity is an embargo. There is an embargo on taking photographs in the courtroom. Historically, an embargo names the state of ships being unable to enter or leave a country's port. We sometimes include an embargo with the word sanction. One country might sanction an embargo on another as punishment. An embargo aimed at a country often involves much needed commodities, the most common being oil and gas. The word sanction can also mean a threat to block or cut off trade. As a verb, the word embargo is the action of placing the block. A nation will ban, bar, limit, prohibit, restrict, stop. It's a fact of life that we all have to work. It is how we earn our bread and butter. It is a means to an end. We must do it to survive. There are many ways of expressing regular work. It is a job. It's an occupation. It is your profession. It is your livelihood. It's what you do for a living. The word profession also helps to name the type of job you do. What is your profession? I'm a sales assistant. We can also ask, what do you do for a living? I work as a sales assistant in a shop. We can ask who a person works for. This often relates to a big company or public sector service. I work at Google. I work for the fire department. You can work full-time or part-time. The average hours worked each week here in the UK is around 40 hours. However, some people work very long hours. Hospital employees might work very long shifts. Some workers might have to be on the job around the clock. The amount of work a person is willing to do varies. A hard-working person might be willing to work long hours, while some people might avoid work at any cost. They are work-shy. A work-shy person might be described as a layabout, slacker, bone idle, lazy. Why don't you go out and get a job? You're just a bone idle, lazy layabout. Negative slang terms for regular work include daily grind, 9 to 5, rat race, daily slog. An interesting job can be rewarding, while a dull or uninteresting job might be described as tedious, laborious, unrewarding. To work hard, you must slog your guts out, keep your nose to the grindstone, sweat, give your all. Having a job is a necessity. It is what brings in your livelihood, the income, your source of revenue, your earnings. It is a fact of life that we all have to work. It is how we earn our bread and butter. It is a means to an end. We must do it to survive. I hope you enjoyed that. That is one of my many English lessons, because that's what I do. You see, I talk about English here on YouTube, and sometimes I do it live, just like now. Here he is.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Hello, lovely viewers from around the world. It's lovely to be here again, and I hope you're all very well and excited about learning more English. In fact, somebody said, Amajit Kaur said that she wants some new words today. Well, we've got a lot of new words coming for you later on, so hang fire, as we say.
Some of the words are so new that they haven't even got definitions yet.
They're not even in the dictionary.
They're not in the dictionary. They haven't even been created yet. They're so new. They're hot. They're hot straight out of the oven.
We've got a lot of, people that I don't recognise watching today.
I think we have a lot of new viewers.
We have. And, I recognise Euphonium, obviously, from Azerbaijan. We've also got Zur, who I don't recognise, who is also from Azerbaijan, the land of fire, they say. So that's very interesting. We also have somebody from Rajasthan as well, the real Prithvi. So we've got lots of people living in the countries that end in stan at the end of their words.
Well, there are.
We have people from Afghanistan, lots of people from those countries, which is brilliant.
Yes.
So, yes, if you are new and you want to be recognised...
And your country ends with stan.
Or anything, please let us know and we will read your name out. And what we found last week is that lots of the new people were starting to interact in the live chat, which is ideal because that's going to help you learn English and it's going to just help everything move along. So lots of new people on the live chat, which is fantastic.
At first, you might feel shy, you see. So I have the same feeling sometimes, and you might not believe this, sometimes I like to watch other people's live streams. And quite often I feel nervous. I feel afraid to actually type something on the live chat.
I've got to correct a mistake I've made already. Megha says Rajasthan is a state in India, not a separate country. So I've got that wrong already. So I'm already on, Mr. Duncan, and I'm making mistakes. So got to be careful, yes. But anyway, that's good to know. So I must remember that. Note to self, Rajasthan is a state in India, not a separate country. But nevertheless, so Euphonium and Zor are watching from India, and we know that we have lots of people watching from India.
Literally in the first minute.
We won't let's just get past that and move on, Mr. Duncan.
Yes. Irma.
But thank you for letting us know.
We have Irma.
Oh, guess.
Irma David Shvili. I hope I pronounced your name right. I am new on the live chat. Hello, Irma. Nice to see you here today and welcome. If it's your first time, welcome. And if it is your first time speaking and typing on the live chat, welcome as well. No problem.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was waiting for you, Mr. Duncan.
Steve was busy writing so much stuff. I thought you had lots of things to tell us. So what's happening?
People are sharing keys.
Yes.
In different parts of the country. Palmyra said that they must be so friendly. Everybody must be so friendly and trusting
with their neighbours.
That they are just give each other their keys so that if they go away and maybe the flat or the house needs looking after. That would be quite a rare thing in this country.
Yes.
You would really have to trust your neighbours. You would normally give a key to maybe a relative. But I actually thought this the other day, Mr. Duncan, because we don't go away that often.
No.
And when you do, if you go away for 2 weeks, say, when we do this big meet-up
Okay.
in Paris.
Is there a point?
Yes. Well, what happens if something happens to your house while you are away? Maybe there's a flood, a
Yes.
pipe bursts,
Or it burns down?
or there's a fire, or something happens, a tile falls off the roof.
I think if it burns down, it doesn't matter.
Yes,
it's too late.
It's nice to know that there is somebody there that could look after it for you, that you trust. But I don't think we wouldn't trust anyone, would we, around here?
I'm not sure. Well, I know our solicitor has a key to the house, just in
Not
case.
anymore.
Yes. I
Oh,
do.
that's closed down, Yes, when we moved house.
No, we wrote our wills.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. How did you forget?
She's retired, by the way.
Oh,
so I don't
okay.
know what's happened to that key now.
Oh, I see. So what happens to our will?
When you write a will, then I don't know. It was bizarre. She asked for a key.
Did you just take
the
them to?
house.
Did you just take them to a litter bin in the town and just dump everything into a bin?
I don't know why she needed a key. Why was it? Was
In
it
case when we die,
Oh, it was in case both of us. That was it. The scenario was
if we both die.
if we both died at the same time. For
Yeah.
example, in a plane crash, and you don't trust
Or-
anybody else.
Well, in any circumstance.
then she would be there to come into the house and sort everything. Anyway, we've already gone down a dark path,
Well, we're going
Mr. Duncan.
We're going down a very dark one today because we're talking about age and different words and phrases. So it's going to get very dark.
Guess what Pedro wants?
But we're still going to have fun as well. We're still going to have fun.
Yeah.
But what's Pedro been up to?
Well, thank you very much for admiring my T-shirt,
By the way,
polo shirt.
By the way, wait there, Steve. Pedro Belmont is here today. Pedro, have you been a naughty boy again? Yes.
I've read something on the live chat which would suggest
Yes.
that, we don't mind. We're not judging anyone
What is
on
all
the live
this?
stream.
Yes.
At all.
What is all this?
Well, I don't,
What's happened?
we don't need to know. We
Well-
don't need to know.
Well, Pedro's told us.
Well, yes, but, the circumstances. Yeah. It's just nice that he's admired my T-shirt. And I think, guess what Pedro wants?
I'm not sure.
He desperately needs it. It's something he wants more than anything else
Is it the same thing you
in
need?
the world.
Is it the same thing you need desperately?
I don't think we could align in that way.
Okay.
I'm talking things that flutter in the breeze.
Okay. £10 notes.
£10 notes? Well, yes, we could all do with £10 notes or whatever currency is. I wonder what currency it is in where Pedro is. That's interesting. I wonder what the currency is. But yes, no, cloth with they go up on poles and they flutter in the wind.
Well, you would know all about poles.
They flutter in the wind, Mr. Duncan, and they're different in every country.
Oh, I see. Whew. I'm so tired. I'm starting to flag.
I think we know what it is. Well, I'm not sure whether we've got that today, Pedro,
Well,
but
we might.
we might.
We might.
We might. So hang on.
We might not.
Hang on. It's up to Mr. Duncan. He makes all the key decisions on the live stream. I
Yes.
have no influence whatsoever.
Yes.
If it was my way, you would get what you want, and you may anyway. So let's wait and see.
Pedro says, I do not understand why you have accepted me as a moderator. Well, we don't judge anyone, you see.
No.
We don't judge people like that. If you have anything from your past or even your present, then it doesn't matter. We don't judge people like that. So don't worry, Pedro. You are very welcome. And yes, we might have flags of the world at around about 3 o'clock.
Really?
Does that sound good? Just for you, Pedro.
Already the...
Just for you, I'm so glad that they didn't throw away the key. That's all I can say. So we are talking about different stages of life today, from being a little sticky baby to being a big, sticky old person. Because both get very sticky, you see. I've noticed that. As you get older, you spill more food down your clothing and over your face. By the way, a lot of people asking about my mother. My mother is still in care, and unfortunately we can't go to see her at the moment because they've actually had an outbreak of COVID in the care home. So we can't go for at least another 2 weeks, possibly another 2 weeks. So because there have been cases there where my mother is being taken care of, we can't go. So that's all I can say for now about my mum. Mr. Duncan and Mr. Steve, yesterday we had our first online encounter with Marcia and also Claudia and also Sandra on the internet. So it would appear that the girls, you know the girls I'm talking about, they have all grouped together and they have their own little chat now together.
That's fantastic.
Yes. And they can all see each other on their cameras.
So it's like a Zoom meeting, or can you do that with FaceTime? It must be a similar app to Zoom.
I think you
maybe
can.
it's Teams.
Yes. I'm not sure.
Teams.
I'm not sure about FaceTime. I don't know how FaceTime actually works, if you can have lots of people. But I know with things like Zoom, because you use it, and also Teams, and there are many others as well. Skype, of course. Skype, still quite popular as well. So, yes, it's great. What a great idea, I have to say. Well done. And I think that's a brilliant idea.
Zoom. Yeah, they use Zoom.
Good.
Tomek says he's got COVID.
Oh.
So I hope you're feeling all right, Tomek. Yes, that's a bit... hopefully it's this new variant that is milder than the others and that you will soon feel better. Interestingly enough, on the subject of COVID, I know lots of people that have had this variant. What's it called?
Omicron.
Omicron, or Omicron, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And a lot of people have had very mild illnesses. In fact, I know some people that have tested positive and they didn't even know they'd got it and haven't had a single symptom. They're fully vaccinated. But, yes, hopefully you're going to be all right and everything will be all right.
Good. That's it, yes. It was lovely yesterday, by the way. We went into the shops yesterday in Much Wenlock, and you don't have to wear your masks anymore. It was lovely walking around the supermarket without my glasses steaming up. For the past 3 or 4 months, in fact longer than that, every time we go to the shops, I have to put my mask on, and Mr. Steve does. But the problem is, if you wear glasses, your glasses will steam up, and then you can't see where you're going. So it was lovely yesterday. Now they have ended all of the restrictions. You can now go into the shops once again without your mask. You can breathe. You can do everything. You can go and hug everyone. I went up to the shop assistant yesterday and I gave her a big hug.
And then she sprayed herself down with every known disinfectant.
Oh, okay. Is that anything to do with COVID or just because of my personal hygiene?
Oh, good. Mild symptoms, headaches, sniffles, coughing a lot.
Oh.
Yes, that's right. Yes, Pedro, I do know Stephen King, and I noticed earlier you said you were reading The Shining, which I think is quite a scary...
Yes.
Is there a film, The Shining?
Yes. Well, the Shining, the film is based on the book, but apparently the book is much better. There are quite a few differences with the movie, but apparently some of the iconic scenes in the movie were actually added, and they're not in the book. So there are some scenes in The Shining. I like the film. I've never seen it all the way through. It's one of those movies that I've always wanted to see, but never actually had the chance to watch. A bit like Citizen Kane. That's another one I've always wanted to watch the movie, but never had the chance to do it. But yes, very good.
Marwa, no, we don't have to wear masks anymore. It's not mandatory
That's
anymore. And it isn't if you know the person anyway and you've been tested, that's fine. So we're fine because obviously, but anywhere in the UK now, you don't have to wear a mask because the levels have gone down sufficiently for them to say that we don't need to do that. So we're fine. Don't worry about that.
Yes, we're okay. I haven't had COVID, and nor has Mr. Steve.
Well, not as far as we know.
Well, I'm pretty sure I haven't.
Yes, exactly. Yes, right. So what are we going to talk about today, Mr. Duncan?
Well, I've already said.
Oh, yes. The stages of being young.
Yes, all of the life stages.
The life stages.
The stages of life. I've got some lovely photographs to show as well. Would you like to see something funny? As you know, Steve, I like to see things. I like to be near things that are much larger than they should be. Well, you're very similar. You like to be near very large things that are larger than they normally are. But I love having my photograph taken next to things that are really big.
That's true.
For example...
Outsized objects. If something is outsized, it's bigger than it normally is.
For example, maybe this. So apparently this looks like a howling dog. So this is up on the Stiper Stones. And it's big. It's a big rock formation. But it also looks like a dog that is howling at the moon. But it's big, and I love it. I also love big haystacks. There I am, sitting on the haystack.
Oh, yes.
And so I like that. And also, I like big lamps. Isn't that great?
And that is not a trick
No.
thing. That is an actual
lamp. Desk lamp.
That is some kind of sort of, what would you call that?
A sculpture.
A sculpture.
Yes.
It's a sculpture in Birmingham.
But guess what? Claudia has sent a photograph and she said, Mr. Duncan, I knew you would love this photograph. I knew you would love it. So here is the photograph that Claudia has sent.
Look at that.
Isn't that great? I love that. Can you tell me where it is? Because I want to go there. Now, this is a photograph that one of Claudia's friends sent. But I love that because it reminds me of the big lamp. So there is my big desk lamp, and there is Claudia's friend with a big...
Another lamp.
That looks like a table lamp. So thank you very much for that. I was quite... That made me laugh this morning, I must admit. I needed cheering up. Oh. I didn't mean to press that.
Who was in the movie The Shining? Who was... I can't think of the star.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson, that's it.
Hi there. My name is Jack Nicholson, and I was a bit crazy when I was young. It's true. Did you know that he had a terrible childhood? His father used to regularly beat him up. And it caused him a lot of mental stress.
I'm not surprised.
And apparently he got into acting as a way of relieving all of the anxiety and the tension. Isn't that strange? But it's true. Right. I was watched a documentary last week about his life. So it's very interesting.
So maybe playing those sort of evil parts in films is a way for him to get that. Instead of acting out his vengeful feelings in the real world, he does it in acting.
Yes, well, in the real world as well. He's a bit of a hellraiser. So he is a larger-than-life character on screen, but also off screen as well. He's had a very wild life.
Rip Torn was a bit like that, wasn't he? He was one of these larger-than-life characters. And I do see how that can happen, because if you're depending on the, I mean, my personality is one that tends to keep things in. If I've got issues with people, I don't tend to tell them. I tend to keep it all bottled up. And what I've found is that when I'm doing acting in my amateur dramatic various societies that I'm with, I find it's really therapeutic to be able to play the part of a nasty character. I love playing nasty characters because on the stage you can say the most horrible things to people that's in the script.
Yes.
And you can say it because it's not real. But it somehow makes you feel better.
Yes.
And sort of, I think it is therapy. So I do like playing sort of nasty parts on the stage. I don't know what that says about my personality. But, one day, maybe I'll be a Hellraiser one day, Mr. Duncan.
I don't think that is never going to happen.
Can you be a Hellraiser at my age?
You are just a little kitten, you are. A little kitten. Purring away.
Pedro said he didn't see the... Belarusia said that photo was sent to me by a friend who lives in Sweden.
Oh, so that is Sweden. We have to go to Sweden on our world tour, so I can stand next to that big table lamp.
Euphonium's got to go in a bit, so lovely to see you, and I hope to see you again next week. Yes, Nisa wondered whether you pressed the intro button by mistake.
I did. I pressed it by mistake. I should have had the one that just goes shoo, shoo, but it didn't. I pressed the wrong button. Hey, guess what? It's just after 3 o'clock. Pedro Belmont has made a request, and who are we to argue with someone who's just...
We're not going to argue with Pedro.
I'm not arguing with
Pedro. He's got a reputation.
Pedro, whatever you want. Whatever you want, you can have it. We're not going to argue with you. So here it is.
Although just this once.
Just for Pedro, it's Flags of the World. Did you enjoy that? The flags of the world.
I wasn't watching.
It's been a long time. We haven't had the flags of the world for a very long time, so I hope you enjoyed it, Pedro.
Just for you. By the way, send us a picture. We want to know what you look like now. If you still get the long hair, we want to know.
Are you still in the handcuffs?
Tomek says, don't go to Sweden because I think he wants us to go to France.
Oh,
so that we can all meet up. I think that's what. Well, you know.
Well, Tomek is in the Netherlands.
I know, but I think what we want is large, oversized objects for Mr. Duncan to be photographed near. So,
Okay.
Do you have any sort of oversized objects that we could be photographed next to?
Nothing rude.
And then that might sway. Or it might influence our decision on where to meet up. Because if anyone's watching that doesn't know, we are seriously thinking about a meetup sometime this year for some of our lovely YouTube followers. And we're going to pick a destination at probably France and probably Paris.
Yes, it looks.
And then,
I think it's probably we're probably going to actually say it probably will be Paris in France. Why do they say that? They always say. I've noticed Americans always say Paris, France, as if.
Is there another Paris in another country somewhere?
There is, of course. Yes, I think there's a Paris in the United States. So I was thinking it's Paris, France. Yes, I think most people know that Paris is in France, and it is that one with the Eiffel Tower. However, there are Eiffel Towers everywhere now. Did you know that?
Yes, they're not quite as spectacular as the one.
There are Eiffel Towers all over the place. There's one
It's been copied.
There's one in Las Vegas. A lot of people like to be photographed in front of it, and then they pretend that they've been to Paris. There's one in China. I'm not joking. There is an Eiffel Tower. There is a recreation of the whole area where the Eiffel Tower sits. And it's in China. And a lot of people go there and they have their photograph taken in front of the Chinese Eiffel Tower. And then they tell their friends that they went to Paris.
Pierre Apraxine has moved to Normandy, apparently this year or last year.
Yes, very interesting part of the part of Europe.
Isn't that where your family were from?
No.
Oh,
that's Brittany.
But anyway, that means there's somebody else, Pierre, we will be, if we ever do decide to go to Paris, you're not very far away, so you could come and meet us as well, along with whoever else wants to come. But we'll plan and talk about that more and more as we go on, as the year progresses. So, Mr. Duncan.
Nessar asks, what is the difference between the words kin and sibling? Well, kin is just your relatives. Would I be fair in saying that?
Yes, you can say your kith and kin,
yes.
Can't you?
So your kin, generally speaking, is the people in your family. But siblings refers to your brothers or sisters. So your siblings are the other children in your family. So, for example, I have two siblings. I have two sisters. I have a young sister and an elder sister. Mr. Steve only has one sibling as far as he knows.
As far as I know.
Because his father did go to sea a lot.
That's right, he was a sailor.
So I have a feeling around the world, if you see anyone in your country who looks like Mr. Steve, it might be one of Mr. Steve's secret brothers.
Looks like me, but about 10 years, 20 years younger than... Oh, no, they'd look the same age as me, because obviously I don't look anywhere near my age.
But yes, so, you know what they say about people that go to sea? They often have a woman in every porthole. But not porthole. Every port. Although, I could have been right. That's so rude.
Connell says that the Flags video, Flags of the World video, she gave that to her students as a pronunciation exercise.
Oh,
Pronunciation exercise.
there's a strange irony there that you can't pronounce pronunciation.
They have to pronounce the names of the countries correctly.
Yes.
Well,
Well, you did that once.
What did I?
You had to try and pronounce all of the flags of the world.
Oh, yes, that's right.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
I
yeah.
must find that and repeat it because it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, ever.
Yes, Tomic, my father was at sea for many, many years, and we have no idea what he got up to.
No, he was away a lot.
Yes, but it was before I was born. So I think my parents got married, and then it was about 10 years before I was born, but my father spent most of that time. I think he was at sea for about 20 years.
God,
He was a sailor for about 20 years.
that's a lot
like
of
that,
that's a
yes.
lot of little Mr. Steves.
Maybe it wasn't. Yeah, so, you know.
Wow.
You know what they say about sailors?
Yes.
It's
I was-
probably the main reason that people go into that profession.
Yes, it's probably it's well, you might say it's one of the perks.
I'm joking, of course. But yes, who knows? I could have brothers and sisters.
Yes.
My father did used to keep a diary, and when he died, it vanished.
It
So-
wasn't a phone book, was it? With just numbers.
Well, I'm wondering whether my mother found it and got rid of it.
Oh.
I don't know, but maybe it's hidden somewhere at home, and my parents' home, and then I will find it one day, and there will be all these details about what my father used to do when he was sailing around the world.
Yes.
In what he used to do, he loved it.
Did he have a position? What was his rank?
He was first mate.
Wow.
He got to first mate, and he was going to be a captain.
I don't know what that means.
So he worked his way. It's the one down from the captain. So he was very clever, my father. He worked his way up. I think he went to sea when he was 16.
Oh.
Joined the merchant navy, and then worked his way through the ranks to become. He was a navigator. He was very good at navigation, but he worked his way up to first mate, and he was taking his captain's
Bird's eye.
exams.
Captain Birdseye.
I can't remember what you call it now. There's a name for it now. I think it's masters. You take your masters in seamanship, and then you can become a captain. But for some reason, my parents decided to start a family. So he gave it all up for me. And I think he bitterly regretted it. My mother said that he was never happy. Well, and that's not true. I think he missed it because he loved it. That's all he wanted to do.
I bet he did.
And I mean,
he missed all of the stopping off at the ports.
Thinking about it, I mean, if you give up something to have a family, that's a pretty high expectation for the children, isn't it? They've got to. I mean, I never felt any pressure, but I always thought he was a bit disappointed, because I didn't.
Well,
I didn't like all the things that he liked. I was the total opposite to my father.
he had you.
So my father was a real man's man.
Yes.
And that means he liked all the.
He was in the Navy.
He looked.
A lot of men in the Navy were a man's man.
He loved football, cricket, all sports, and I didn't like any of them. I just, we were total opposites.
I think he was overcompensating.
So I think that I was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah. I felt sorry for his friend, though. I felt sorry for your dad's friend.
I don't.
Seaman Staines. I always felt sorry for him.
That's very rude.
It isn't rude. That was his name. His name was
don't
Robert.
say it again.
His name was Robert Staines.
Yes,
And he was
okay.
in the Navy with your dad.
You're making it. Mr. Duncan's making this up.
No, it's
I don't
true.
know much about my father used to tell me all these wonderful stories about when he was on ships and they would sink and things like that.
God.
And
He
they all
wasn't-
had
he
to be
wasn't-
rescued.
He wasn't very good, was he? Was it your dad crashing them into icebergs?
I don't know, but I mean, in those days they didn't have all the electronic
No.
wizardry
Yes.
that would
Like-
keep ships
Like
safe.
eyes.
But yeah, he had fantastic eyes. My father, even when he was old,
Okay.
he could spot
It was
things,
the-
and
it-
he had these
it
because
was
he
the-
used to have to,
Oh,
watching
Steve.
out.
All right.
All right.
It was the only part of your dad that worked properly.
Pedro, he must have gone to another world. He must have been 250 years old. I'm not sure what that means, but I think probably people are talking about something else. Right, Mr. Duncan, we haven't got that much time left, have we, to talk
we've
about
got
our subject of the
We've
day?
got 45 minutes.
I feel as though I'm just babbling about nothing.
You are babbling today. You've got a bit of a babble. You're like the local brook.
Well, you need to take over, Mr. Duncan,
I'm
and
trying.
direct this live stream
I am.
in the direction that you want it to go in.
Actually, it's funny. You just mentioned your father giving up his work on the ocean, sailing the ocean waves to have a family. A lot of people nowadays, apparently, a lot of people now are choosing not to have children. So they're married in a relationship, for example, and they are making the choice not to have children, which I find quite interesting because you would often assume, and I think this is it, maybe it's a little bit old-fashioned in some ways, but you would always assume that a couple would get married and then maybe after two years or 3 years they would decide to start a family. But nowadays, a lot of young people are waiting, or they are deciding now not to have any children. They just want to enjoy their company, each other's company, without all of the hassle and the nightmare of raising children. Some couples are also deciding to start a family much later. So women
Yes.
are now getting qualifications and getting a career before they actually start having children. So in the past, of course, I suppose we are talking, well, the time of your father, I suppose, that people would get married and within a couple of years they'd start a family. But of course, women now, I think the modern woman, which is a great idea, by the way, they see the priority as being much different. Career. Getting a career, qualifications, career, you get a job, you get something that you can fall back onto after the children have got older. So they will wait now. So the average age that a woman would have a child would be about 21, early 20s. But now it's much older.
Is this in the UK?
I think this is in the UK, but also it's a trend that's happening in the Western world. Apparently, they are saying within the next couple of years there is going to be a crisis where the population will tip with the age. So
Yes.
there will be far fewer younger people in the world than there was 10 or 15 years ago. And they think it's going to be, they're going to call it the population implosion, apparently. It's where suddenly the scale, the balance, is tipped.
But because, of course, people are living longer and longer, particularly in developed countries. And so the average age of the population, the mean age, is going up and up and up. And, of course, it takes a lot of money and resources to keep older people alive for longer. And so you need to have lots of young people coming along to carry on working and paying taxes to pay for the health care of older people.
Yes.
I mean, so yes, what is going to happen? Apparently in China there's going to be quite a crisis because, of course, for many years in China there were restrictions on how many children you could have.
Well, you could only have one.
That's right. So
And quite often they would have girls. And if you had one girl, that's it. You had to have one girl. But many Chinese people favoured having a son. They wanted to have a son and heir. And what's happened over the years is, it's very similar to what's happening in the West, is the balance has tipped. And now there are not enough young people. And there are not enough young females So apparently when males or men are trying to find a female partner, apparently it's much harder because there are more males than females. I'm sure the same thing happened in Japan as well. I think there was a sort of population crisis in Japan.
Imbalance.
Yes.
So yes, it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the decades to come.
It is interesting.
I mean, we all want to live as long as we can, but maybe we'll have to pay for it when we do get older, rather than rely on younger people to pay the taxes and pay for the NHS that we have here that keeps us all alive for longer.
But it is interesting to think that a lot of people now are holding off, or some people are just choosing not to have kids at all. That instead they might have a dog instead.
I've got a friend. Thank you, Marcia, for your comment, by the way. No, I don't think no. My father never gave me, he's not here anymore, but he never gave me the impression he was ever disappointed in me. Never, not once. So, in fact, I think he was quite proud of me. Because I went into sales, and I think he saw that as something good, because it's something quite difficult to do, was for me when I was younger. So I think he saw that I was trying to overcome my sort of shyness and move. So yeah, oh no, I never felt that. So I think you're right. I was going to say something else then, but I can't remember, Mr. Duncan.
Good, that's good.
Lots of people don't have children. I've got a friend. I've got a couple of friends who have decided not to have children. I mean, she can't have children now. She's too old now, even if she wanted to. And they spend all their money on holidays and things like that. I don't think they've ever regretted it. In fact, a few weeks ago, they were thinking of getting a dog. And I thought at the time, oh, that's interesting.
It's near.
Yes.
There are a lot of similarities between a dog and a baby. They make a mess. They take a lot of attention. They keep you up at night because of their noise. There are a lot of you. Just have a baby. You're so close. You're so close. Why not just have a baby? You're so near. You're so close.
Well, I said to her, I spoke to her last week, and I said, "Oh, have you decided to get a dog?" And she said, "No, we've changed our mind." She said, "We're not getting a dog for the same reasons we didn't have a baby."
Oh, I see.
So some people would describe that as selfish behaviour, but I think there's enough people in the world.
Well, some people might say having 5 or 6 children is selfish.
Yes.
You see, so there are always ways of looking at these things from different angles. So if you choose not to have children, then okay. If you want to have children, okay, fine. I think it's an individual choice.
Well, I think the thing is nobody feels that they probably need to have children, because I think it's a natural thing that happens when populations get very large. I think it's natural that you don't feel the urgency to have a baby, because from an evolutionary point of view, you feel as though the species is doing quite well.
I don't think that's the reason.
I don't need to have a children because I don't need to have any, because there's lots and lots of people around. Maybe if there was a big...
Anyway, Steve.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm just saying. Anyway, all right, Mr. Duncan.
It's a good point.
Fine,
it's a good point.
Carry on then.
Yes. It just becomes a TED talk.
Maybe I should do that.
Yes, maybe you should. It's just over there. I was going to say, I'm trying to make some points, you see, so we can get into today's subject. It's like I'm trying to sort of push the door open. And now I've forgotten.
We're not judging.
No, we're not judging.
Either way. No. Have children, don't have children.
Yes, we're not judging.
I'm not judging anybody.
No, we're
just
not
making comments.
No one's judging.
We're just making comments.
There's no judging taking place.
Yes.
But I think people that don't have kids just don't want to have them because they just don't want the hassle and the trouble and the screaming and the shouting and the tantrums and the constant tears. And that's just the parents. That's not even the children, that's just the parents.
Well, some people want children, some people don't.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
That's life.
I think we've made that point.
Fine.
I think we are very clear on that point. If you want to have them, have them. If you don't want to have them, don't have them. I mean, there are people in same-sex relationships having kids, adopting them.
Well, that's it. I mean, if people give up children for adoption, then...
Why ruin a good thing?
Anyway, right, carry on, Mr. Duncan.
Why spoil a good thing? We're talking about different words and phrases that you can use. They all refer to something that I suppose is, well, I was going to say personal, but I suppose it isn't personal. But we are talking about age, words and phrases. So I suppose we're talking about different stages of age. The stages of your ages from childhood to adulthood. So there are many words, maybe more words than you realise. So we are going to look at some of the words, Steve, right now. So we start off at the beginning. Well, not at the beginning, because that's something else entirely. But we have birth. Birth. Now this is a word that is used quite a lot.
Yeah, carry on, Mr. Duncan.
I wonder what you were laughing at. We use it quite a lot to say that new life has been produced. So birth can be something you do, something you actually do, or it is the state of being born. So we can use this as a verb and also a noun as well. So you will give birth. You are born. So to be born is to be the person who is born. To be born. You are born. You are pushed out. I can say safely, Mr. Steve, I am glad that I don't have to do that.
You mean you wouldn't be a very good midwife?
No, I wouldn't be a very good person pushing the baby out.
Yes, so somebody that assists in the birth process, a nurse, is called a midwife. That's the name we give them here in the UK.
Push harder, Mr. Duncan, push harder. So, or we can just say that somebody has popped out, if you want to be fun. If you want to have a bit of a humorous phrase, you can say that you popped out. Your baby popped out. It popped out. Isn't that fun?
Did we need the sound effects, Mr. Duncan?
I like the sound effects. I like them. I like them all, every single one of them. So a baby is born. We often describe a baby as newborn.
Why are you looking at me?
No, because you've gone very quiet.
A newborn baby, yes.
A newborn baby. So a baby that is born, a newborn baby. Or, of course, you can describe your baby as a little bundle of joy. That's what they normally say, isn't it?
Well, not for you they didn't, but...
Not for me.
Yes. Yeah, a newborn baby, yes. You can give birth to an idea, can't you, as well?
Yeah,
if we go back to the last one.
Good one, Steve.
You can. A new company can be born from an idea. You can say that. You can say that an idea gave birth to maybe a new religion or a new company. So you can use that you can use the phrase in that way, the word in that way as well.
An industry, maybe a new way of producing things. You can have the birth of a new industry. We often talk about the birth of the Industrial Revolution that actually started here in this area where we live around the world. So what happened here in this area, Steve, affected everything around the world.
True, yes.
So you might talk about the start, the creation of something.
Iron Bridge.
Yes.
You can look that up. The start of the Industrial Revolution happened in Iron Bridge. I think it was also simultaneously happening in other parts of the world as well. But we like to attribute all the success to Ironbridge in the UK.
I think so.
But I think it was happening in other parts of the world as well.
But Ironbridge, of course, is the place, not just the bridge.
Louis the 17th says, birth of a nation. Yes, birth of a nation.
Oh, yes.
Something new starting, a new beginning, a new life, a new idea. You can have the birth of a new nation. Yeah.
So as a young person growing up, you are, first of all, a baby. So a person who is with a child that hasn't been born yet, we might say that they are pregnant. They have a bun in the oven.
Well, Louis the 17th has just put that on the live chat.
That's it. So to be pregnant is before you have the baby. And then afterwards, you push the baby out and it says, hello, world. Nice to see you all. And then after that, after you have been through your babyhood, we have infanthood.
Too late, Tomek. I saw the comment.
What did he say?
I'm not going to repeat it, but carry on, Mr. Duncan.
Was it rude?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, rude. Well, yeah. Depends on how you want to look at it, but yeah.
Infanthood. So this is still someone who is very young, a young person. We often describe this person as an infant. Infant. I love that word, infant. Or toddler. Because quite often when you see a very young child, they sort of do this, don't they? When they're walking, they toddle. So to walk in an unsteady way is toddle.
So what age would you say for an infant?
Infant, normally
Toddler.
we're talking from, I would say, from 3 years old to maybe 6.
Is it until you can walk properly?
Yes, I think
Yes.
I think it's after the baby has started to grow. So infanthood is the early development into, I don't know, becoming able to walk, and when you start to talk.
Expecting. There's another word.
Oh yes.
We use.
If you are expecting a baby, it means you are now pregnant and you are waiting to give birth. You are expecting a baby. I like that one. That's a good one.
Yes, Victoria says, never heard of the word tot. Little tot. Yes, it's quite a common word, certainly in the UK.
Yes. Something small is tot. Something tiny is tot. So you will say a small child, you will describe them as a tot. Tot.
2 to 4, says Louis the 17th, is what you would describe. Yeah, I would agree.
Yes.
Up until you can walk properly. An infant, a toddler,
Yes.
a tot.
Until they are able to amble. So we often talk about preamble. The preamble stage is when a child cannot walk, and then afterwards they can walk. They can start walking, and then they start to develop speech as well. When did you start talking, Mr. Steve?
I don't know. I think it's you see. I think once you get beyond that stage of 3, then people often say, when was your first memory and what age? People don't, I think on average, people don't remember because the brain hasn't developed properly. You don't really remember anything below the age of sort of 2 or 3. I think my first memory actually was
Yesterday, going for a walk into town.
was falling into my father's rose bushes when I was probably 2.5 or 3, something like that.
I would imagine that's one of the reasons why you thought about going back to sea.
And probably, and also, I was also probably wasn't quite 3, and I remember a song on the radio that, for some reason, I've still remembered to this day, Downtown.
What an incredible...
Who was that, Downtown? Who sang that?
Sandy Shaw, wasn't it? Or Petula Clark?
I think it was Petula Clark. And for some bizarre reason, that's one of my first, if not the first, memory.
Yes.
Because my mother always had the radio on. She always loved having the radio on for company.
Yes.
And I just remember that song.
I think Steve's first word was car. I think so.
And going into my father's rose bushes, it's all the
Car.
bad memories.
Car. car.
So I was around 3 at the time, and most people, I think, their first memories are around the age of 3. So actually, if you have a baby and it has a lot of pain and distress when it's maybe if it's 1 or 2 years old or just been born, whatever that pain and distress that they have, they're not going to remember it. So it probably isn't something to worry. I mean, you're always going to worry if your baby is in distress, but they're not going to remember it. So maybe it's not so bad.
So you're saying Petula Clark's Downtown is a distressing thing to listen to?
Well, I just remember it. I just remember that song. I don't remember any other songs. It must have connected somehow.
Good. Okay. Anyway, we've got to move on. We are rapidly running out of time. I'm not shutting you down, Steve. I'm not telling you not to talk.
Valentin said that the word of my first son was tractor.
Tractor. There you go.
Is your husband a farmer?
He might grow up to be a farmer.
Well, I should have grown up to be a singer or a horticulturalist, but neither of them. Mind you, I like being in the garden, but anyway, yes.
What?
Louis XVII says, the cake from my 3rd birthday is one of my earliest memories.
Do you still have it? The
Yes.
candles are still burning. I don't remember having birthday parties as a child. I don't think I did. I don't think our family did because we were so poor. We couldn't afford birthday cakes or candles or matches to light the candles with.
It'd be interesting to know what, from the people watching us, what are your first memories?
Yes.
We've had 1 or 2, but it would be very nice to know, what those early memories are. It'd be interesting to. What are they? Are they things that happened that hurt you? Are they things that happened that you liked? Yeah, please let us know. We've got time.
Nothing too distressful, though. I don't want to get all sad and unhappy. Childhood. This is it. This is the one. This is the big part of your life. This is the part of your life that decides whether you are going to be a success in life or us.
Many people, of course, really never leave childhood, even when they're adults.
That's true.
I think, they often say it's good to try and remember how to be like a child when you're an adult. It's nice to have a bit of fun. Just let yourself go, not worry. Because when you're a child, you don't worry about what people think of you. You haven't developed that self-awareness yet.
No.
You haven't developed that worry of what people think of you, that awareness. So that's why children can play and they just do what comes naturally because they're not worrying about, should I do that or not? What will people think?
Steve.
That's all to do with brain development, but yes.
So here we go. Childhood. To be a child. We often describe childhood as your early years. Often we use the word formative. I like that word. Your formative years. Your development years. Your shaping years. So your childhood. It is amazing how many things that happen in your childhood, even if they seem like simple things, can resonate throughout your life. And one of my memories that has affected me to this very moment in time as we stand here in front of that camera. I remember the first time I heard my voice played back on a tape recorder, and I was at my Uncle Vic's, and my Uncle Vic had this amazing stereo system, and he had a microphone plugged into it, and you could record your voice, and I was only very young. I was about maybe 5 or 6, and we were all playing around recording our voices, and he gave me the microphone and he recorded my voice, and I just said something. I can't remember what I said.
How old were you?
About 5.
Oh, right.
5 or 6.
Yes.
And I recorded it, and then he played it back, and I still remember the feeling of absolute amazement hearing my own voice played back. And that moment of time affected me for the rest of my life, because I always knew that I wanted to do something where I was using my voice. I was using it in some way, whether it was in radio. That was one of my dreams as a child, to be a radio presenter, But look, here we are now. I'm still doing it now.
Yes.
Still
many
doing it.
years later.
So from that one moment of time as a child, hearing my own voice for the first time, it gave me that feeling of wanting to do something using my voice. It's true. So we often think of childhood as being your formative years, the years when you are developing. We might describe a child as a kid. A lot of people don't like that word. They say it's disrespectful to children. But you might say a child, a kid. Here in the UK, British English, we often say sprog. I love that word.
But yes. Sometimes that means that can mean baby as well, can't it?
Yes, anything.
Yes.
Anything. Well, a child can be
a child,
baby.
yeah.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
a child is just anything you give birth to. You give birth to a child, a kid, a sprog. I love that. Or a youngster as well. Youngster. I suppose there are other ones you can use as well. Then we have, oh dear Steve.
Those troublesome years.
Not a good time for me. I will be honest with you. I hated my teenage years. I hated everything about it. I know if I could go back in time to a part of my life, the one time I would not go back to is my teenage years. Maybe after that, maybe my 20s. I would like to go back to my 20s because I realise now, looking back, how much power you have as a young person in your 20s, because you've learnt a lot, you have some confidence, you are able to communicate, but you don't realise just how much power you have when you are that young, when you are in your 20s. It's like it's all there. All this potential is there, but quite often you waste it. And
because you don't realise.
Yeah, you only realise it when you're about, well, our age. That's when you realise it. But
Louis the 17th says a kid is a goat. Yes, a goat can be called a kid as well.
Yes.
That presumably, is it a baby goat, a kid? I don't know.
A kid.
But yes, so that's the word can be used to describe a small human child as well.
Teenage years, to be a teenager. We often describe a teenager as an adolescent. Adolescent. It's that difficult time when everything is happening to you. Your emotions are going all over the place. Quite often when you are a teenager, you will find it very hard to communicate with your parents, to get along with your parents. You will often want your own time to yourself. So we often talk about teenage angst. We often see your teenage years as being difficult, emotional. Things are happening to your body. You're getting urges.
I don't know anything about that, Mr. Duncan.
You are going through puberty. So everything, all your hormones are getting mixed up inside your brain and through your body. So we often talk about teenage years quite often in a negative way. They are often difficult years. And I know for me, they were the worst years of my life because I was completely self-conscious of everything. Myself, everything. I hated myself so much as a teenager. I was too thin. I was tall. I had a strange squeaky voice. And all the things, I did not like it at all.
It's a difficult time, very difficult time for a lot of people who go through, when people go through puberty, it can be very difficult. And of course, people react in different ways. I mean, I know friends that have had children where it's a nightmare for the parents because their teenagers are being very, very difficult to live with, misbehaving, which of course is all to do with the adjustments of going into adulthood. And it can be a very difficult time for parents.
Yes.
As well as the adolescents as well. I don't even remember going through puberty at all. It was a very my voice was very late to, because obviously what happens with men, of course, is their voices break
It
to boys
very low, very deep.
due to hormonal changes. And mine was, I was the latest, in fact, I think I was the latest in my year. I was well into 16 before my voice broke.
Okay.
And this used to create a few problems for me because the other boys at school, some of which their voices had broken and they'd gone through puberty 2 years earlier than me. So it was like I was in the wrong class. I never thought I was going to ever, my voice was ever going to break. I was sort of very slow developer.
I always felt sad after my voice broke because I used to have this beautiful. You hear a choir boy singing. I used to have the sweetest voice as a singer.
Really?
When I was a child, and then my voice broke, and then it sounded like this. I was very disappointed. I had to leave the choir because of it.
Oh, thank you, Louis.
Oh, hello, Louis. Louis the 17th. Thank you very much.
Giving you a lovely donation. Thank you very much. It's nice to know that you appreciate what Mr. Duncan is doing.
Teenagers are the rebels without a cause. I think that's good. There's also a very good film starring James Dean as well, with his leather jacket, and he would always wear his collar up like this. This is James Dean, you see. Hi, I'm James Dean. I'm a cool guy. Yeah.
He was very cool.
Yes. Sadly, his life was cut short in a motorcycle accident.
Well, we saw something on television yesterday. We were watching a playback of a show that we like to see sometimes from America. What's it called?
I don't know.
Sunday morning we watch it, don't we? You know, that talk show host. American talk show host.
I've no idea.
Saturday morning.
Oh, I see.
Watch it.
I wasn't. This is so off topic.
Yeah, well, it's not off topic. I'm just
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher. That's it. Bill
Okay.
Maher. Maher. I think, and he had somebody on who was in their 80s, and they were talking about their adolescent years or their childhood years. That their parents used to leave the house to go to school or wherever, and then the parents never knew what they got up to, but they were doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
We were the same.
Yeah, when you think about it, when you're a child, you do all sorts of crazy stuff that your parents never find out about unless something goes wrong. So you're climbing up on buildings, and you're doing all sorts. You're finding out what the world is like and how it works, and what you can do and what you can't do, and what are the limits of your physicality.
Steve, okay.
Yes,
I'm trying to move on, Steve.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to make that point.
Yeah, it's good.
That
it's well made.
That you have to go through that. Anyway, right, carry on, Mr. Duncan.
It's all right.
I was going to make a point, but you stopped me.
Carry on.
No, I can't remember now.
Oh, okay.
Tomek said he used to sing in a choir before his voice broke. Yeah, well, that's good to know. What sort of a choir was it? Yes, tell us about it. Well, yeah, okay, right.
I'd imagine it was a choir.
Judith Beach is watching us from Cheshire in England.
Oh, we have a Judith Beach.
Hello, Judith. Are you new to Mr. Duncan's channel, or have you watched before and you are just now taking part in the live chat?
Or maybe you're just a person who lives in the UK, who speaks English, and you've decided to click on my face, for which I thank you a lot, to be honest. So we're talking about your teenage years. I didn't enjoy my teenage years just because I was self-conscious. That's it.
I don't really remember them.
No, I think we've.
But anyway,
we've already done that one. Schooling. So now this only applies to here in the UK. So I know different countries have different names. For example, you can have kindergarten. Now, kindergarten has become very popular. When I was a kid, we had something called nursery school. So nursery school was where very young kids would go, and they would mix together and they were just it was like babysitting, really, wasn't it?
Yes.
Babysitting for mothers who just thought, I can get rid of that kid all morning and I can do something else. I can have some wine and smoke a nice cigarette. So nursery school. I didn't go to nursery school. Did you?
Yes.
Oh.
I did.
Fancy pants.
Well, I don't think it's fancy.
No.
Why didn't you go to nursery? Why didn't your mother send you to nursery school?
I was clinging on too tightly to my mum. I loved my mum so much and I wouldn't let her go. So I didn't go to nursery school.
A bit like you see those monkeys clinging on to their mothers, swinging through the trees in wildlife programs.
I have to be honest.
Was that you, was it?
I have to be honest.
Clinging on.
I have to be honest. I wasn't expecting to be likened to a clinging monkey.
It's lovely. It's lovely when you see that in nature, isn't it? The baby hanging on to their mothers like that. So that was you. I'm picturing you.
I don't like
in that situation.
I don't like monkeys' bums. There are certain monkeys, and they have that horrible sort of bright orange bum.
I don't want to be reminded of that.
It looks like it's melted. And so they look lovely from the front, and then they turn around and they've got that big orange backside, and it's sort of really scary. I don't like it.
Yes, Louis the 17th has pointed out that kindergarten is a German word, or derived from a German word, that means children's garden.
Oh yes, that's it.
That's it.
Kinder, child, garden.
Yeah. Kinder eggs. We have Kinder eggs here, don't we, that children eat?
They're designed to choke young children.
Yes.
Well, if you want to get rid of your child, just give them a Kinder egg and tell them to put the whole thing in their mouth, and then they will eventually choke on a toy that's hidden inside.
Judith says that English was her favourite lesson at school. Oh, good, lovely.
Mine too. I loved learning English. So after nursery, Steve, you will go to infants school, which I did. I started infants at 5. So I started going to school at 5. A lot of people might say, Mr. Duncan, that was very late. That might explain why you are, a bit, thanks a lot. Infant school. And then, of course, after that, you go to primary school, which I believe nowadays is called middle school.
Okay.
So as I understand it, primary school that I went to is now called middle school. So they don't call it primary school anymore. I might be wrong, but there are some people that say it's middle school and other people say it's primary school.
Nurseries are didn't used to be, they're more popular now, nurseries, aren't they? Because they're basically for mothers who want to go back to work, or both parents are going to work and they want someone to look after the child, the baby, don't they? So nursery school is nursery, I would say, up to age of 5. Is it a nursery? I don't know.
Yes, nursery is when they're walking
before they go to primary school.
Yes.
So nursery is right up to primary school.
Well, nursery is up to infants.
Yes, that's what I mean. Just
Yes.
before you go to primary school, yeah. So and they've become very popular. It's big business. A nursery in the UK. I don't think I went to nursery because my mother wasn't working. So if your mother's not working, you probably wouldn't go to nursery, would you? Because you don't need to.
Yeah.
You only need a nursery if both your parents are working and there's no one to look after you.
Yes.
And you haven't got a relative to look after you. So maybe you have a baby and then after a couple of years you decide you want to go back to work. So you put your child in nursery and you organise your work around that. And then you pick up your baby on the way back from work, maybe.
Of course, what also happens nowadays is you normally have a relative to look after the kids. So if you have a baby or an infant, so quite often they will bring the baby or the young child to their own parents. So we're talking about grandparents. So the grandparents quite often will look after the children these days. It does happen quite a lot, actually. And then, of course, after primary school, we have high school, another period of my life that I hated. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like my teenage years, because I had to go to high school and I was forced to mix with some of the worst people, the most unruly, spiteful people that you could probably imagine having to actually be near. So that was great. From the age of 11 to 16, I was at high school, and I hated every moment of it. There were moments where I loved it, but there were many moments where I really did want to jump off the roof of the school. Lovely, happy memories.
That's it.
And then after that, college.
So when you're 11 or 12, you go to high school, or that can be called, as people have pointed out, elementary school as well. That's another name for high school. In fact, we didn't call it high school when I was growing up. And typically that's, you in the UK, you could have gone to two types of high school. And you could have, if you were posh and you were clever.
Elementary school is primary school.
Right, okay. So if you were posh and clever, you would have gone to what is it? Where posh people go. My brain's gone today.
You keep telling me to. How can I know what you're thinking? I'm not psychic. Grammar school.
Grammar school. That's it. If you were posh, you went to a grammar school in the UK, or you had to pass a certain exam,
the 11 plus,
in order to go to one.
They called it the 11 plus, and I failed miserably my 11 plus. I just turned my 11 plus exam into a little paper aeroplane and threw it around, and that was a fail apparently. Although I was very good at making paper aeroplanes, that could have been my profession in life, but it wasn't. Mr. Steve, you passed yours, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. There wasn't a grammar school near where I was, so you took the 11 plus. I don't think, obviously the 11 refers to the year. It means what you're going to do after year 11. I didn't pass it. No, actually, no, you're right, I did. But because they thought I was going to fail it, they already put me in a lower grade in high school. Which was, what was, if you didn't go to a grammar school, where did you go? There was another name for it, wasn't there?
Was there?
Yeah, for a high school that wasn't a grammar school.
Comprehensive?
That's it. You went to a comprehensive school.
I'm glad
you're here.
I just love the fact that Steve didn't remember that he passed his 11 plus.
Well, because they put me into a low grade, and then afterwards I'd actually passed it, so I had to go up to another grade after 6 months. Because, again, I was a slow developer.
I think you're still developing.
But there wasn't a grammar school near where I lived, so you had to go to the comprehensive school that had used to be a grammar school, but it was.
Oh, okay, Steve.
But yeah, just, people need to know.
This doesn't sound like a conversation anymore. So, yes, you can call it comprehensive school. Grammar school is where you sent the intelligent kids.
Yes.
I didn't go to grammar school, as you can tell, because I was really stupid. I was an idiot at school. I'm going to say it. No, wait there, Steve.
No, I was going to agree.
I was put in one of the classes with all of the people who were seen as, what's the word we can use nowadays? Is it? We can't say that word anymore, can we? But remedial. I was put in one of the thick classes.
I was.
Because I was so shy. I was actually shy, incredibly self-conscious and introverted, that I was really afraid ever to speak or say or answer questions. So they just assumed I was an idiot. I was thick. They thought, no, he's thick. Put him in there with the rest of them. But I wasn't. I was inside. I wanted to explore the world and learn.
Yes, it's not all about you, Mr. Duncan.
Well, it is. It's my show. Fortunately.
Of course, in this country, probably like in other parts of the world, we have faith schools as well, where you send your child to a school that is of your religious faith. So you can have Catholic schools, Church of England schools, schools for Muslims. There are lots of faith schools. Hindus, what you name it, whatever the religion, there will be a school that if your parents want you just to go to that and not mix with other faiths, you can send your children to those schools.
You don't want to mix with other faiths. Isn't that lovely?
Well, that is effectively what you're saying, isn't
yes,
it?
I'm trying to say something, Steve.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing with what you say.
Yes,
it's very true. What about the Jewish people?
Well,
you left out the Jewish people.
Well, I can't mention every religion.
Wrong? What's wrong with you?
I can't mention it. I haven't got time for that.
Is this a bit of anti-Semitism?
Creche, yes, a creche is like a nursery. That's the same word. What's the difference, somebody asked, between college and university? They can be interchanged, but when I was growing up, a college was somewhere between the school and the university.
Yes. Well, they called it further education.
Yes. So a college can be for anybody. A college can be for adults as well as kind of university. But normally, so a college used to be, it's just a place of learning for older people, really. But I went to college because I didn't pass all the A levels I wanted at school, at high school. So I went to college for a year to retake them, and then I went to university. So there were, a college, but you could, when I was at the college, there were people older still there, just learning all sorts of courses. But
college is for everyone.
College is for everyone.
You can go when you're 16, 18, 105. It doesn't matter. You can go to college to learn something at any time. Of course, a lot of colleges now here in the UK have become universities. So it's very interesting how that's changed. There also used to be something called Polytechnic.
Yes.
A Polytechnic was always seen as the poor person's university. There was always that joke, wasn't there? Like in Stafford, we had Stafford Polytechnic. And it was never really taken seriously because it wasn't Stafford University. But now, of course, it is. It became a university quite a few years ago. But it's interesting that there was a bit of snobbery. If you went to Polytechnic, it wasn't quite...
That is correct. And that was at a time when there were lots more people going for higher education, wanting to take degrees, and there weren't enough universities to take everybody. So they introduced polytechnics. I think I'm correct in how they were formed. But yes, you went to a polytechnic if you're to take a degree if you couldn't quite get a high enough grade to go to one of the universities.
I didn't go to university.
Well, okay, I know that.
No, but I know you know that. There are lots of things you know about me, Steve, but there are other people watching us on the internet at the moment. So I didn't go to university because of all of the stupid stuff that happened at school stopped me from going anywhere else. It's great, isn't it? I was offered a scholarship at art college as well. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that, did you? I was offered a scholarship at art college, and my parents would not let me do it.
Yes, and that what your parents do, the influence your parents have is very important, isn't it? So if your parents don't support you, then it can have a devastating effect on where you end up in life.
Yes, the first years of my life, from being a teenager to early 20s, was really all messed up by the education system making the wrong decisions and choices and pushing me in the wrong direction. Horrible.
Yes, and
anyway.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest responsibilities. I mean, I'm saying this, and I don't know anything about parenting at all, but my belief is that one of the main responsibilities of a parent is to realise what talents that you have, that their children have, and to encourage them in that. Because if parents don't do that, children get lost, and then it can have a serious effect on what kind of adults they are and how successful they can become.
Well, parents are the biggest influencers of a child's life. I mean, I think nowadays parents seem to want to push the responsibility onto the teachers. So anything that goes wrong nowadays in their child's life, they will automatically blame the teachers and the school. They say it's the school, but in fact, the responsibility is also the parents. The first responsibility, parents. The second responsibility are those who are teaching your children. I think that's the order. Parents first, school and teachers second.
But you turned out okay, says Bamboo. You're not a serial killer.
Yeah. Trust me, I still, to this day, Steve, I know I've said this probably before, I don't know how I've actually got to this point. I really don't. I don't know how I've done it. I've done it because I can say that no one helped me. I received zero help.
Was there anyone in your life that maybe did give you support and, might have helped you on your way? Anyone, you can think of?
Not really.
Quite nearby, maybe?
Not in my formative years. We didn't know each other when I was a child.
No, well...
It feels like
the other interesting thing about your brain, the way your brain develops, there are certain things that your brain is gets hardwired into your brain. So that means your brain is quite plastic when you're a young baby, a young child, an infant, and your brain becomes more fixed apparently after the age of 7. So if you really put some strong ideas into a child's head before they're 7, it becomes almost fixed and unable to change when they become adults. So which is where religions come in, because religions they know that if you put these habits and these ideas into a child's head when they're very young, it's going to stay there forever, because it gets hardwired into the brain after that. So that's one thing I can say about my parents, particularly my father, is he let me find out what the world was all about myself. He never put any fixed ideas into my head, never tried to impose his ideas or his beliefs. I always remember he always used to say, explore the world yourself, find out what you think. You never said, it's the world's like this is what you've got to know, this is what you've got to believe in. He never tried to impose beliefs onto me, and neither did my mother. So you can say that helps you or hinders you, but anyway.
Well, my parents didn't tell me what to think. They just didn't allow me to explore my talents and possibilities.
No, they sent you to work on a building site.
Oh, well, they didn't actually.
Well, I thought they did.
They didn't send me to work on a building site at first, but they said that I had to learn the building trade. They thought that it was much better to have a trade.
And yet you had all this talent. Can you imagine, Mr. Duncan, how tall are you, 5'11"?
No, I'm not 5'11", thanks though.
I thought you were.
I'm just over 6 foot.
Just over 6 foot. And you only weighed about 8 stone.
I was 8.5 stone at that age. 8.5 stone.
His parents said,
and I was on a bit.
And he was shy and withdrawn, and
okay.
Everyone beat him up at school.
Okay.
I'm just, that's to get that. Just let people get that impression. And sending you onto a building site, and yet you had this talent for art and for radio, and they didn't encourage you at all.
No.
That's disgraceful.
Yeah.
That you were totally let down by your parents.
This is turning into Mr. Duncan criticises his parents, but it isn't. It isn't. But they sometimes did let me down.
Tabula rasa. Yes, Christina, that is correct. A blank sheet. That's it. And what goes in, that is very important. So your parents are so important because they give you the confidence to do things.
Yeah.
My parents used to always encourage me to do things, and it's so important, so important.
Well, it was lucky that I was able to push myself and give myself those opportunities. So I created my own opportunities. No opportunities came to my front door and said, "Hello, this is opportunity. Hello, would you like to have all of these things?" That never happened. So I had to find my own opportunity. For example, going to China was something that wasn't offered to me. I pursued it. I pushed myself. I got on a plane and I flew all the way to China, and then I spent a large part of my life there teaching, and it changed my life completely. And it also allowed me to gain a lot of confidence.
Judith says that her dad supported me, saying, because obviously Judith being a woman, because, in England, I don't know how old you are, Judith, but certainly when I was growing up, it was, probably not so much then. It was beginning to change then, but it didn't really start changing in England to the 60s and the 70s, whereby the perception was the woman stayed at home and the man went out to work. That's all changed now, obviously for the better. But Judith said her father was saying, maybe, I don't know how old you are, Judith, but you got that support to say that you can do anything as a woman.
Yes.
And of course, you see, what Judith's father could have said is, get married, have children, which probably, certainly when my mother was growing up in the 1930s and 40s, that was very much what she was told. Your place is you get married, you have kids, you do the housework, that's it. And my mother, my grandmother, was very bitter, according to my mother, because she was very talented.
Yes.
She could have gone to university, but her father wouldn't let her go because he said, no, she passed to go, but she wasn't allowed to go because you couldn't in those days. And she was really clever, my grandmother, and she could have done it. She could have done anything. But she was held back and she was bitter about it when she got older, which you can understand.
But this is what happens nowadays. People have the choice. So you don't have to conform. You don't have to go down a certain path in your life. If you want to get married and have kids, yes. If you want to stay independent and have your own job and career, yes. So that there are more opportunities, more avenues to pursue, whether you're male or female.
Judith is a year younger than me.
Okay.
So I reckon you were born around 1962, I'm guessing. So yes, we are a similar age. So yes, I nearly deleted somebody then, Mr. Duncan, on the live chat. So yes, so we're the same generation. So yeah, you will know of stories probably of your parents or your grandparents that probably wanted to do things and weren't allowed to because of society's constraints. And of course, this is still prevalent in large parts of the world.
For various reasons.
But yes, it's all very interesting, isn't it?
Yes. Well, life is interesting, and that's the point I'm making today, I suppose, is we all go through stages in life. Some of those stages, some of those times, some of those periods are difficult, and some of them not so difficult. But I think everyone develops in their own way. So you can't be Einstein at school. However, you might have the occasional situation where a child is exceptionally gifted or incredibly clever, and they have some gift that they are able to use, and hopefully there will be people around them who will be able to recognise it and encourage them to do that. So it does happen in different ways. Everyone is individual, and all of our experiences are different and varied.
See, I was always quite envious of people who knew what they wanted to do in life. I never sort of really knew. I was good at I'm the sort of person that's good at a lot of things, but not brilliant at anything, which is fine. That's I've got my place in society. But to be supremely talented in one thing, I know that has its downsides as well. But to have that amazing talent in one area and then you know what you want to do. My father always knew what he wanted to do when he was young. He wanted to go to sea. He wanted to be a sailor. He knew that from a very young age, and that's what he did when he was 15. But did I want to work in horticulture? Did I want to science? I loved biology and science. But I wasn't clear. I wanted to be a chemist, but I wasn't clever enough. Lots of things, and I never really settled on anything.
No.
I liked lab work. I ended up doing that. But anyway, that's all about me now, isn't it?
This is Mr. Steve's new autobiography.
But I'm just saying, I always envy people who really know what they want to do from a young age. You know, because you don't have to worry. Oh, what shall I do? Shall I do that? Shall I do this?
You've
What
just
shall I
said
do?
Okay.
You know, you lose. All your energy is wasted.
So Steve has made the same point there.
So yes, I've ended up being in sales most of my life. That's probably a waste of talent.
Probably, yes. Well, at least you can have a little bit of my glamour. I like to give you a little bit of my glamour, Steve.
Thank you.
Being here in show business on the internet with my super show. So I will let you have a little bit of my starlight.
Victoria says, I'm still trying to understand, what does Mr. Steve do? Yes, a lot of people wonder that.
Mr. Steve is still trying to work out what he does.
I help Mr. Duncan. No, sales. Sales is my job.
Sales. A very interesting area of sales.
Yes, but we won't go into that.
I know, I wasn't going to. Do you want me just to say it? No, I wasn't going to. No, but it's very interesting. I think your work seems mundane, but I think the area that you're in is very interesting.
I must admit, I am good at it.
Yeah.
So I suppose I've fallen on.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 33 years, so I must be good at it. So I've got to accept that is my lot in life.
The
I'm
thing
never
is,
going to be a famous singer.
No, well,
Which is what I wanted to be.
You are nearly 61, so
So you have to accept your lot in life and
Yes.
be grateful for what you have.
yeah.
Because we haven't got a bad life, have we, Mr. Duncan?
It's
Let's
all
face
right.
it.
I mean, my life is pretty crap.
He's joking. Right, it's time, is it not, for a cup of tea
Yes.
and to settle down and watch a Columbo episode that we've seen umpteen times before.
Okay.
If you say upteen times,
Upteen, even though-
I can't pronounce my words today. Umpteen, but what's the word? I can't pronounce it. Go on.
I don't know what's wrong with Steve.
I've something wrong. I've been in the garden. I'm exhausted.
Umpteen.
That's it. Umpteen times.
It just means uncountable.
Yes, lots and lots of times.
So many times I can't count them.
It's a good job. This isn't my English teaching channel.
It is a good
it's
job.
yours.
It is. It's good. I'm so glad.
Lovely to be here as ever. And hope to see you all next Sunday.
Next Saturday.
Which, no doubt...
You can come here next Saturday if you want. We won't be on.
You might be. You
You
never
can
know.
stand here next Saturday.
Are you doing a live stream in the week?
I will be here on Wednesday.
Right.
I will be here.
Did you know that?
Can I just give the... You are really in a crazy mood today. I think, why can't you be like this on Saturdays? Why weren't you like this
I was
yesterday?
miserable yesterday.
He was such a...
We won't go into it.
He is so miserable on Saturdays. I don't know why. And on Sundays, he's like... It's like he's taken some sort of drug or something.
No
Anyway.
drugs. Just high on life.
Steve? Okay. Tea? Columbo. I hope it's a good episode. I hope they don't show that awful Leonard Nimoy episode again. They keep showing that one too many times. I hope it's Ransom for a Dead Man, our favourite Columbo episode. We love it.
What channel is it on? Just to, we might interest Judith in watching Columbo.
It is on 5... Finished? It's on 5 USA. Is the channel 5 USA. Every Sunday they show lots of Columbo.
For some bizarre reason, we just like to sit down and watch it.
But the crazy thing is we have the DVDs.
Yes.
We have all of the DVDs of every single Columbo episode, but we're so lazy we can't even be bothered to put the DVD into the machine.
Something about watching it when the programme's actually on at the time it's on.
But it has stupid adverts all the way through.
It seems more real if you watch it at the time it's broadcast. If you record it and watch it later, it doesn't seem the same to me.
We don't record it. It's on DVD.
No, I'm talking about programmes in general.
Oh, okay.
Certain programmes, it's like watching the Queen at Christmas.
Is it?
You watch the Queen at 3 o'clock. If you record it and watch it later, it doesn't seem the same.
Steve, I don't want to break this
It's
to
like
you,
the
but
Vienna concerts
it is
on New
recorded.
Year's Day.
The Queen's speech is recorded
I
anyway.
know, but it's when it's broadcast.
Yes,
isn't
but
it? That's what I'm talking about.
She's not doing it live.
I know she's not doing it live, but
You know
it's when
that.
it's broadcast.
Please
That's
tell
the
me.
only important. That's all that matters.
I was worried then. I was worried that Steve thought that the Queen's speech was live. Just-
Don't be silly. Right. Love you all. See
Okay.
you again next week.
It's a bit
Be
personal.
good.
Personal.
And hopefully you will learn some English off Mr. Duncan's wonderful
I hope
lessons.
next week you're a bit more, I don't know, not so...
Well, I don't have to come on here, Mr. Duncan. You know, I've got better things to do.
Okay.
I'm only joking. There's nothing more enjoyable than spending time with friends across the world.
Okay then. We'll see you
Bye.
We'll see you next Sunday. Go and have a lie down, Steve. I think you've deserved
Are
it.
you fading me away? I can't keep up this smile forever.
Goodbye, Mr. Steve. Do you want to go to the beach?
Oh, I'll just go. Bye.
Do you want to go to the beach?
What beach?
The beach. Do you want to go there? Just say yes.
Yes.
Why not?
I'm a big boy now.
Oh dear. Mr. Steve didn't want to go. He was saying, I want to stay here. Can I stay? Steve will be back next Sunday. I don't know why he was so excited today, but at one point I thought I was going to have to get my special sticky tape to put over his mouth. Anyway, we will be back with you next Sunday. I will be back with you on Wednesday. I am with you on Wednesday from 2 p.m. UK time. If you love learning English, if you love listening to English being spoken like this from my mouth, then please join me on Wednesday from 2 p.m. UK time. Thanks for your company. Thank you to Mr. Steve. Can I just tell you now, I had many words and phrases connected to your stages of life, and we didn't even get through half of them because Mr. Steve just kept giving it lots of that. So I might do some of them on Wednesday. We will see what happens. Thanks for your company. It is going dark outside, starting to go dark. 22 minutes past 4 o'clock. I've been with you for around about 2 hours and 12 minutes. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you will join me on Wednesday, or, of course, next Sunday. I'm back with you from 2 p.m. UK time. Thanks for your company. See you soon. Take care of yourselves wherever you are in the world. Have a super-duper week. And I will see you very soon, right here on YouTube. And of course, until the next time we meet, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Stay safe, take care, and keep that smile upon your face. And of course, ta-ta for now.